you do because you'll be good. Seriously. Instead of now on your
I hope my volume is okay. Right, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Welcome to this live broadcast. I think we're in a hotel. What is that hotel name?
City Hotel. City Hotel.
City Hotel. I like to do a little publicity for them as well. So for some of you who are all the way there in the diaspora, we're in a City Hotel, and with me here is he's a veteran, he's a big brother, he's a born librarian. You know, when we say somebody who is patriotic, somebody who has a country at heart and a people at heart. Mr. Franklyn K. Wesseh. He's great, and we actually honor him. He's just been honored as well in the newspaper here. And we'll talk about that later on as well. But this afternoon we're here. Okay, this afternoon we're here to talk about a series of issues, and one of those is the campaign for social justice in Liberia, especially the establishment of war and economic crime scope for Liberia, and of course the TRC, the implementation of the TRC recommendations. Like I said, I will come here in Liberia, and people like him, I will not speak to him. I will definitely have to give him respect, even if we have to discuss national issues as well. He's on the ground. He's been working hard with a lot of guys who are also on the platform. Welcome, Fubi. It's great to see you on the platform. Welcome as well. So we're going to start off first of all by greeting you. So we say welcome to the internet, all right? Which will be broadcast on Bros Media TV when we get back to London. Well, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you, Max. It's a huge fun to see you again. Let me say compliments of the season.
Yeah, simply, let's hope that you had a wonderful so far, how are you doing? How are you doing? How is everything?
Yes, I'm good personally, health-wise, but I'm just kind of a little heartbroken by the sudden illness of my mom. She broke down, and she's having some very serious health concerns, and I'm just believing God that He can grant her speedy recovery. But personally, I'm pretty good, and I'm just grateful to God for keeping up to this time, because it has been a very hectic 2018.
2018 hectic.
Yeah, very hectic.
I mean, personally, right?
Yeah, I think you've been following from London what's been obtained on the ground. The Citizens Action for the establishment of a war and economic crimes court has been actively, engaged with the national government on the establishment of the war and economic crimes court. So the Citizens Action, in collaboration with the Coalition for Justice and other justice groups, have really been
That's in your face.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, you got it all. Thank you.
So the Citizens Action and in collaboration with other justice groups like the Coalition for Justice and some other justice groups have really been, amalgamating forces to ensure that the pressure is, kept on the field of government to ensure the establishment of a war and economic crimes court. For the first time in our country's history, the national legislature was petitioned on May 8th, by the Citizens Action for, the establishment of a war and economic crimes court and the full implementation of the TRC recommendations. Wow. So, it has really been an issue of discussion, something that has drawn the attention of Liberians from all walks of life. So, you know, obviously, that is something that will not really augur well with the perpetrators.
Yeah.
But we are more concerned about the victims of war, people who, you know, became victimized,
Yeah.
people who should be given attention. Some of whom are displaced today, and some of whose lives, you know, have been like just dashed. No hope, you know. And we thought their concerns could be addressed if the TRC recommendations were fully implemented. Because within the TRC recommendations, you know, there's provision for reparation, you know, rehabilitation, and you know, reintegration out of that. So for people to just look at that instrument and place it on the carpet, we thought that it was unacceptable. It is unacceptable. So we thought to raise the red flag and challenge the government to ensure that the people of Liberia have justice, so that it serves as a kind of a deterrent for would-be perpetrators. But this thing is not about wanting to see some people going to jail. It is basically, you know, creating a condition, a situation where tomorrow our children, you know, if even they ask the hard questions, will be given, you know, the desired answers they expect. What did you do about people who, you know, took advantage of war and perpetrated mayhem and atrocities and gross human rights violations? We heard that some of them, you know, they you know, just masqueraded with impunity, and today they are living with us, you know, as though nothing happened. At least we should be able to say we made the case for justice, and we are on record to challenge the government to ensure that people who perpetrated mayhem and atrocities are made to account for their deeds. And not only that, people who also took advantage of you know, public offices to enrich themselves at the detriment of the ordinary people. Sometimes I hear people say Liberia is the oldest republic. Agreed.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, 1847, yes. But what can we show? What can we show? We are a nation endowed with so much resources, Max. A small country of a population of less than 5 million, but endowed with so much resources. We've not been able to construct, you know, a fitting road, a paved road from Cape Mount rather, to Cape Palmas. Even from Monrovia to Lofi and other places in the rural areas, you know, it's a huge challenge. You observe that even during the rain season, people are not able to commute to those areas.
No way.
So
food and everything.
Our mothers and fathers in the hinterland are unable to bring the market produce to mainstream, you know, markets where they can be able to raise money to fend for, you know, their families. Only because a handful of rapacious, you know, and you know, if you like, selfish leaders inflating their pockets at the detriment of the ordinary people. We are saying those kind of people must be brought to book. There must be a special court arranged to make sure that these people are impartially investigated, and if found guilty, they are made to pay dearly for those acts they committed. That's the only way this country can plow the trajectory of positivity. Other than that, we keep doing one thing over and again and expect different results.
You know, for every, you know, issue such as what we're discussing here, especially given the historical background of our country from where we come, as far as this advocacy is concerned, any idea as to why we got here? Where did we make a mistake? Why in the first place are we actually shouting out today that we want war crimes?
So here is it. You and I and all other Liberians cannot undo the crimes and wars of yesterday. We can bring back those who died.
No.
Great. But you know what? What we can do is we can give meaning to the past by learning its lessons. What lessons have we learned from all of the atrocities, the insurgencies that occurred in this country? From 1978, or you say 1979 Res Riot, the 1980 coup d'etat, the aborted coup of 1985, the rebel incursion of 1989, the insurrections by other warring factions even after Taylor was elected president. All of these are, you know, incidents of atrocities in our country. Look, I always tell people, you see, the reason why people decided to rebel against the state, particularly, honestly, if you rebel against the state, there are laws on the book to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's sedition, right?
Yeah.
Great. But here is it. When you commit gross human rights violations, those are not crimes restricted to your country. I hope you get it. Where some people out of their own vicinity were committing all kinds of atrocities, going, maiming a group of people, maybe because of ethnic affiliation or religious affiliation, you know, torturing, raping, and opening pregnant women's stomachs, all kind of unimaginable, horrible things people did around here. Then no, those are not just crimes punishable by our laws; they are crimes punishable by international laws, because it is something that cuts across, the broader spectrum of society. These are all conventional crimes, and Liberia is a signatory to most of these international treaties.
That's it.
So how
Being the audience,
exactly? So how could we, as conscious as we are, sit back and allow our country to be seen as a hub for gross human rights violations? Look, here's this thing about because you ask, why this loud cry now? When the war came, those same people who fought the war, who sponsored the war, who participated in the war, were the same ones that sat around the table in Ghana in 2003 and agreed in principle on establishing an act to create the Truth and Reconciliation Committee.
Yeah, the TRC, right?
They themselves, they were not coerced.
No.
They thought that would be good for us. So the act that created the TRC, Article 10, sections 46 through 48, is clear and unambiguous. It states all of the recommendations of the TRC must be implemented.
I was there, yeah. It is in there.
So that is incontestable, must be implemented. And it goes on to say that the President of the Republic of Liberia shall, on a quarterly basis, report to the legislature on the status of the implementation of the recommendations. In the event that any of those recommendations is not implemented, the question will be why, and then he must ensure it is. So what are we talking about? They agreed. Here is the irony. After they agreed and placed their signatures to paper on the establishment of that act, this is what they did. When the guys went to their work, after we spent 8 million or a little more of our 8 million United States dollars of our meager resources, our meager resources were already a struggling economy. 8 million solicited about no fewer than 22,000 testimonies of people who participated in the war. Yes, what these people did. They conscientiously, knowingly, flagrantly, all because a handful of them were indicted by the document and they were at the echelon of power, decided to muzzle the document and place the TRC under the carpet. In fact, cast it into utter oblivion. So you get it? Now, a group of Liberians at a point in time, some years ago, rose up and they called for the establishment of the War Economic Crimes Code. Interestingly, those group of Liberians, some of them are in power today. And it beats my imagination that some of them from behind the door will be saying it's not timely, calling for War Crimes Code. Let's not go to that because I just see that as a kind of a flimsy excuse. And I'm not going to give that credence. But the reason why these guys did not succeed with the quest for justice at the time for the full implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation, because this issue of a war and economic crimes, how does it come about? If you go through the full report of the TRC, pages 149, 160, just in between there, it calls for prosecution and the establishment of an extraordinary court to prosecute those who committed heinous crimes. And if you go to pages 371, 372, and thereabout, they are listed with their various forms of crimes.
And break down,
there were some excellent. There were some that should have been barred from public offices for 30 years. And then there were some that should be prosecuted. Now here is the drama. When one old lady who was the president of Liberia was indicted by that document, she ran to the Supreme Court and she saw that, according to her, as a violation of her right. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
When you are giving people $10,000,
Yeah.
people in arms $10,000 to come and wage war,
Yeah.
you are now violating the rights of Liberian people.
Right. She says she'll bring your freedom to you, to us.
So if you sponsored an act of rebellion, which is unacceptable in our laws, because that the government you tried to overthrow was a legitimate government.
Yeah, elected by the people.
So if you rebelled against the state, that alone by itself is
a crime.
It's treasonable.
Serious crime. Yeah.
Great. So there is no justification for your $10,000 you gave. But here is my regret. When you agreed that this TRC should be set up to deal with post-war issues, that is, like after the war now, what's the way forward? Then, because you were indicted by the document, you went to court came and said a violation of program, we will sweep that thing under the carpet. Now, here is what is serving as an impetus for our advocacy. We now have a precedent, a man who is on record. In 1994, when he was even disarming the child soldiers, he was very clear. He said, those who placed arms in the hands of these children must be made to account for their deeds.
Yeah.
How can he tell me today?
That's Dr. Weir now.
How can he tell me today that he has changed so suddenly? I know he hasn't. And I know at the end of the day, he will do just the right thing. And the right thing is listening to the cries of the many Liberians who were victimized by the brutal Liberian Civil War to give justice. So we are saying, look, since this man is without blemish, he has a clean, and he is the beacon of hope.
And what we heard?
Oh yes, and that the Liberian people look up to him for good leadership, and that he wouldn't want to disappoint his people, because he said, do not, follow my speeches, because I'm not a good orator. I'm not going to impress you with beautiful speeches, but my policies. And one of the things that he could do, that he could really win the hearts of Liberians, is to ensure that he does what other leaders failed to do. So that he leaves, such as prosecuting people who took advantage of the Liberian Civil War,
living according to his words, even when he said it at the United Nations,
and those who committed economic crimes, so that he leaves a kind of a legacy, I guess an enviable legacy, that tomorrow he might go down in history as, if not Liberia's greatest president, as one of the best presidents Liberia has ever had. But if he comes to just repeat the same old thing, then I found it very hard to understand what was the essence of this change after all. So you see, look, my brother.
But the president, our president told us that we should choose between establishment of the war crime courts and, of course, the full implementation of the TRC and development.
Okay. So
they're asking us to choose between.
I heard that.
So that means he's by means telling you that if he agreed to establish war and economic crime school for Liberia, or either the full implementation of the TRC, that would derail development of Liberia. What do you say about that?
No, I strongly disagree. I heard the president when he said that, but for me, I will look at it from a different lens. He's a leader.
Yeah, he is.
Good. And he's got constituencies. I think he spoke politically. Why do I say so? He wouldn't want to be seen as the one, taking the goat to be slaughtered.
Okay.
He rather would want a situation where it becomes an overwhelming demand of the people for justice. Then nobody is going to blame it on him. So when he spoke in that way, he spoke. That was a political statement, but I disagree with him when he actually probably thought that the establishment of a war economic crimes court will in any way impede development. How does it? How does it?
No explanation yet.
No, but how does it? I mean, let us look at it rationally. You, me, and every other Liberian. How does it?
Where he said a lot of money, people are saying a lot of money will be spent.
Oh, but yes, Is that money anything compared to the over 250,000 lives we lost?
Great question. That's true. Great question.
There is no
mass graves are still yet to be discovered.
There is no amount of money that can be compared to the at least 250,000 lives we lost. Let's forget about the infrastructural damage. Still in the millions. The hydro has not been resuscitated fully up to now. So if you will solicit, funds from our friends, our international partners and whatever, to prosecute people for the harm they did to this country, I think it is laudable. Even if people were not giving us a dime, this is my argument, and I want to be very clear on this. If even nobody was giving us a dime to establish the War and Economic Crime Squad, if that money was coming from our coffers, it is deserving, it is commendable, because, and now I want to emphasize, that money that we might use to prosecute people, whether than one or two people that will, be given fair trial and justice, and they will be made to account for their deeds, that money is nothing compared to the over 250,000 people who lost their lives. It could have been you, it could have been me. If we were amongst those people who lost their lives to the brutal Liberian Civil War, probably wouldn't be here to be discussing this. So what justice do we give to our brothers and sisters, some of whose graves cannot be located? They are in their graves, yearning for justice. And you and I, plus every other Liberian, is on a moral obligation. Moral obligation to ensure justice for those people, for the survivors of the Liberian Civil War, for the victims. There were some people whose parents, whose siblings were brutally murdered right before their naked eyes, and they managed to survive by the whisker. What justice do they have? There are some people whose homes were swept to the ground by, people who came in the name of liberating our people, or took advantage of the Liberian Civil War, triggered crazy individuals, who went beyond their bounds and started perpetrating mayhem and atrocities. So, should we sit here and fold our hands as though nothing happened? Look, I wouldn't.
Wesseh, let's talk a little bit about peace and reconciliation. This president, during the era of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, I think during her first term, was appointed as peace ambassador for Liberia, where he was given the responsibility to at least he can bring us under the Palava Hut.
Yep.
Because I don't know about you, but I still believe strongly that this nation is still divided. There's no cohesion yet, and I think we missed the boat yesterday as well, because the peace ambassador at the time didn't utilize his office to go to county honor the Palava Hut, put this thing together. Why is it we didn't achieve much at that time? And what do you think? What do you think are some of his greatest fears in terms of what we are calling for? The establishment of war crime code and the full implementation of the TRC.
You see, first of all, when President Weah was appointed the peace ambassador, and he started to reconcile, in a way, reconcile the people of Liberia by initiating, a kind of a soccer jamboree on the Anthony Toppan Stadium. We were involved with that program, and his reason for bringing some of the former playing colleagues to Liberia was a way of attracting a lot of Liberians, to the venue, so that the message could go across.
But so does it include the Omar Bana way in the village there?
No, I'm just saying something. That was the intent. Since he was in Monrovia, he was beginning it from here, and he would have extended it to the lower counties. So look, I'm bringing Samuel Ito, I'm bringing Patrick Mboma, I'm bringing Roger Miller. Some of the Liberians they will yearn to see these people in flesh and blood. Then at that occasion, the message goes. Well, if you were ask me whether it was successful, I can say relatively yes, and I would also say to some extent no, because you see, it is one thing to have such an exercise, and it is another thing to sustain such an exercise.
But it was still going on. Why local county? We heard people were even tapping.
Exactly. So what that tells you is that that was not enough.
Okay.
That could not reconcile our people, and that is where I'm expecting him to draw a clue that it doesn't work. Our people are so hurt, that this calling people together and just wanting to talk to them doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf admitted to two pitfalls, two challenges. Her government did not succeed in winning the fight against corruption. Corruption morphed from a public enemy to a vampire. You know you can't fight a vampire.
Never.
Good.
It's true you are.
Great. And then she also said that she did not succeed in reconciling the people of Liberia. The reason is simple. You lack the moral rectitude, former Madam President, to speak to reconciliation. When people are still nursing the thought and belief that you instigated the war that made some of them homeless, that made some of them parentless, that made some of them, hopeless. And today, some of their children are on the street. We call them zobos. You want to kind of talk about reconciliation? You lack the moral rectitude. Besides, she did not demonstrate the political will. What much effort did she make to reconcile the people? When she looked at...
That's why she appointed people. She appointed Joshua.
Exactly, but it was just...
Joshua was, he was still a popular man.
That was a kind of a cow feces, initiative. The cow feces on the surface is dry, and then just beyond the surface it is wet again. So
it was a way.
It was just a way of saying, let me just do something to make these people feel that I'm really like keeping the issue of reconciliation to my chest. But you and I here, this is what I'm asking. What did she do to even ensure that President Weah, that she appointed as peace ambassador, really did what he was supposed to do? She was just like, look, what's happening? Once I appoint this man as peace ambassador, the noise from the opposition will quiet down. That was her motive. Because he is the head of the biggest opposition bloc. So he will not sit here for the people to continue to cause unrest, and be clamoring here and there. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. So let me just make him a peace ambassador anytime. And you saw it when the guys were coming up with the April 12th, the likes of Archie Sanon, Vadele Patricks. I was very much around here as chairman of the Intellectual Forum. And I hosted those guys on numerous occasions. They were like, we are going to stage a mass protest on April 12th. In fact, they were demanding that President Sirleaf steps down. That was the quest. When President Weah came from the States, right at the airport, he just made a few calls to the boys. Gentlemen, you have to call this off. You have to call this off. It is uncalled for. Please call it off. And what happened? They called it off.
So, meaning that he's very powerful in a sense.
He is.
That even what we're talking about now, the establishment of war and economic crimes code, and the full implementation of the GL, it's just taking a phone call to say, well, look, Justice Minister, I want you to give this statement. Give the go-ahead people let them go.
Exactly. Look, let me say this. I think President Weah has to understand that he's got something so much within that he has not really exercised. This guy, he's my good friend. The president is my good friend.
I've been hearing that quite a lot.
I don't necessarily. I don't necessarily have to be in government before.
Some people are still wondering why.
No problem. The fact that he's my good friend does not in any way guarantee that he must prefer me in his government. If he chooses to do that, that's his prerogative. Because preferment of public officials, is squarely the prerogative of the president, and we must respect that.
Yeah.
On a very serious note, let us respect that. That is his constitutional right. So if even we were from the same womb, that does not in any way guarantee he must appoint me in government. He will do so if he thinks I can help him grab the agenda of the country. And that applies to every other person that he appoints. But here's the thing. I'm saying there is something peculiar about this young man that I don't know. It's probably he knows, but he's tending to overlook.
Okay.
He is a rare gem. This is a person, personality that you can refer to as a human magnet. Everywhere he goes in this country, people took at, even amidst huge criticisms, people took at him as though he never did anything wrong. People perceive this man to be so perfect. And that is something that he is supposed to run away with.
Well, he's perfect, though. He's perfect.
No. What I mean, no man is perfect. I disagree. No man is perfect. And you know, but he needs to understand, look, my people see me as a beacon of hope. I must deliver on their aspirations. I can't afford to let them down. When I decide to do certain things, my people will appreciate it.
Yeah.
If I decide to prosecute people, they will appreciate it, knowing that I've been doing it in their interest. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But to sit there and say, look, you know, when now here is something, you know, when you're asking your question, you say, why you think he doesn't want to do this? I mean, he has reason, because some of his officials of government now will refer to some of them who have been speaking to this issue of the establishment of World Crime School. I refer to some of them as ishitons.
Okay.
Yeah, just wanting to talk, and every now and then they blah 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 blah, they will talk, because the government has not taken a definite stance on this issue of the war, the establishment of a war economic crime school. When I say the government, first of all, it must emanate from the legislature, and that is why the legislature was petitioned. We know what we're doing. The legislature has to take a decision on the behalf of the Liberian people that, look, we have agreed for the establishment of a war economic crime school. The president would not outrightly come out and say, we are going to establish war economic crime school. He doesn't have that right. People got to understand this. He's got no right to do so. Okay? The only right he's got is when the legislature agrees on the establishment of a World Economic Crime School, he is supposed to work in consonance with the legislature to ensure the full implementation of the TRC recommendation. This is how it works. But the fear here, as I was saying, these guys, their reason for going against this, I see it as a kind of a selfish reason. Selfish in a sense.
Selfish, or maybe
it's political. And
well, they could be dragged in. Maybe that's why.
Let me give you my reason. I'm saying it is political, and from that political lens, it's a selfish reason.
Okay.
Some of them are like, take for an example, you drag Prince Johnson to World Crime Court. He's prosecuted. He's found guilty. He is sentenced to life imprisonment. The people of Nimba, according to them, their own belief, will want to withdraw their support to you. Since they are the second largest electoral constituency in Liberia, they might decide, you know, in a very good number, that this man, after our son supported him for the presidency, has dragged our son to they calling, some of them calling their Messiah and whatever. And it applies to the other people who have the kinsmen. They might not want to give them that political support. That's one. Two, they also nursing the apprehension that the establishment of a World Economic Crime Court could lead to reprisal, uprising amongst the kinsmen of these various people. But this is what I want to say.
Is that reality?
This is what I want to say. Whatever their reasons are, reprisal, political, vote-wise, hey, the Liberian people, when I say Liberian people, we talk about Liberians at large, are more than a handful of people who are from just one or two counties. So, sorry to say, you can lose all of the votes in Nimba. You can even lose the presidency. You go down in history as a person who stood for truth, who stood for justice. And do you know how to look? Interestingly, the other way around, people who really support you the more for doing what is just right, something that is going to cleanse the society for future generations. Tomorrow people will live to tell the story. Our country went to 14 years of civil war. But you know what happened? Those who brought the brutal civil war and took advantage of the civil war to perpetrate mayhem and atrocities around here, they were dragged to court afterwards. They were prosecuted. Those who committed economic crimes, they were made to restitute. Some of them's properties seized. They are languishing in jail today. Some of them died in jail. Why wouldn't they die in jail? For example, died in jail in Sierra Leone. Okay? And the Sierra Leoneans, and let me just chip in this. People will say, but we still voted these war laws. It is useless to cry over spilled milk. You still voted war laws, meaning that you cannot institute justice. Is that what you say? Huh? We voted them all right, but we can still prosecute them. Yes, because come to look at it. Look at it. These people were voted by their constituents. If you have elections over and again in Nimba County, then Johnson will win.
You sure?
You have elections in Nimba County, and election that is restricted to Nimba County, Chris Johnson will win. There will always be somebody that will make and will put up a good fight, like you don't know where they, and you know, one or two other person. No, that will just be, they will come a little close. He will win because he is believed to be their Messiah, and he calls himself that. You hear this toothless bulldog, I will refer to him as a paper tiger, chest beating around here, talking about the day he is arrested, there will be a stiff resistance. The army will split. And I thought he should be answering questions with the National Security Agency.
Did you ever regret it? Because I also heard that statement. When he made that statement, I thought, well, it was a security threat.
Sure.
But maybe if you, Mr. Wesseh, who made that statement as CEO.
Yeah, I probably would have been languishing behind bars.
But why do you think it's
the
government saying
the
that?
same thing? It is political. The reason is political. People see this guy as a kingmaker. Laying hands on him will be like, evoking the anger of the people of Nimba. That's the kind of belief some people hold around here.
So do you think he has the capability of stopping the call for the establishment of war and economic transport?
I just described him as a paper tiger. I just described him as a toothless bulldog. The rants he is spewing is only because this government is giving him the impetus to do so. Who is he, by the way? He's just a senator. If the issue of a war crimes code is agreed upon by the legislature, that man is just an empty piece of specimen only existing. He's a nobody. He would just, maybe what he could do is to commit suicide. And let me tell you, those kind of people, they are cowards. That man can commit suicide. You know what? Let me tell you, people who are noted for killing people, they know how death hurts. They know how they kill people. They cannot afford to kill themselves. You saw the case with Saddam Hussein. You saw the case with Gaddafi. Wow! On the kind of a hot pursuit. Why do you think they couldn't kill themselves? You think love is not precious? They can't kill themselves. That young man will be cornered. He will not kill himself. They will just pick him up.
Let's educate the people a little bit about the people that keep asking the question about money. Even yesterday I was in Cloudtown. I was talking to people about the establishment of war crimes code, and the support we got from there is that all of the people I spoke with, they say, oh, we want it. But there are others who are sitting on the fences. They asking, well, you know what, we don't have money. If we do this establishment now, we are going to spend money. But quite recently, there's a trust fund. For educational purpose, there's a trust fund within the ICC.
Okay.
The trust fund is sponsored by countries. Even just before I came 3 weeks ago, Germany had just contributed something like 300,000 euro, and Iceland contributed 175,000. The Netherlands also contributed more than 1 million for the trust fund. And the trust fund within the ICC actually support the cause that we are talking about today. The trust fund sponsored the Sierra Leonean trial that was, in which of course Mr. Charles Taylor was convicted. The trust fund is the money that is put somewhere exclusively for this establishment, for witnesses, taking them from their country wherever they are to bring them anywhere they will be going to testify. Hotels bill coming from there. When they finish with their testimony, because I saw this during Chancellor trial, over 300 witnesses were brought in from Liberia, from Sierra Leone, and from all parts of the world. Some of them, they've never been on an airplane before. And I went at the Hague twice, and I sat in the courtroom where the glass was between us from Mr. Taylor, where he was being tried, and the audience. And we saw people being, witnesses testifying. And some of them came from the villages. And they lived for the time being they were there, they were in the 5-star hotel. They were eating good. After they finished with the testimony, they gave them padam as well, they gave them money to go home. This is where the money will come from.
Exactly.
And this is where, let's say, the support for justice will come from. And also, the trial that went on in The Hague should have been done in Sierra Leone. Let's not dispute that.
Yeah.
It should have been held in Liberia. It should have been held in Uganda. Okay? But the ICC was created as well for this kind of cases. That if it can't go on in Uganda, it can be held in The Hague.
Exactly.
And everybody will be looked after well. Now, for educational purpose, we want people to know this. That even if Mr. Weir and his government give the Liberian people the go ahead today, the green light today, and say, look, okay, your found me this. I don't want the code to be here in Liberia. We don't have money. But I give you the go ahead. 100% I'm behind.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We said we will go to the ICC and ask them, can you borrow us the space?
Yeah.
The ICC is there.
Yeah.
They will provide us the space. Okay. ICC, we don't have money. Then we raise some big, organizations. They are standing by already. A lot of them standing by to support this cause.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That even if Prince Johnson says tomorrow that he can't afford the plane fare to go to The Hague, we will sponsor him.
He's going to be sponsored.
Yeah, we'll give him first class ticket. We'll give him first class seat on the plane, and Prince Johnson will be taken there.
Yeah. That's
what we're saying. The Hague will give us the room for us to carry the trial. The money, basically, you forget about it. The money is there. I can tell you now, even the United Kingdom have increased our contribution to the trust fund.
Yeah.
Because the day you guys were marching here, we presented the TRC report to the British government.
Great, thank you.
With a petition statement.
Yeah.
I led that. And in our petition statement, we highlighted the establishment of war and economic crimes code.
Yeah.
We also highlighted the TRC recommendations. We also reminded the British government through Madam Theresa May, the $16 billion that got missing. We also inserted the $25 million that say, they told us that it was infused in the economy through money exchanges. And we said we got a reply from the British Prime Minister office telling us that they are in full support of what we are doing, that the embassy here is also working in line with the government here, helping the government in whatever way investigation, and the $16 billion that the UK government is very concerned. And you remember, even last year, 175 million pounds, my tax are paying in the UK, $175 million pounds was sent straight to the Ministry of Health.
Wow.
From the UK cover, not from the European Union. Okay, so they are very concerned about what is happening here. So we want to just educate some of you that what we're calling for, your 1 cent is not going to be there. It's my 1 cent. My tax I'm paying in the UK that we're going to be there. So you don't worry about it. The court issue, we're not going to have it here. Because you say we'll have war here, forget about it. We will go to The Hague. Prince Johnson, Bob Neke, all of you guys, all the naked guys that are in the house, we will drag you guys, we'll pay your way, you will come to The Hague, and we'll get on the trial, and we'll pay them back. If they're coming back to Liberia, we'll pay them back. If they're found guilty, we find a court, the same way we found a jail for Mr. Taylor. Right now, my tax I pay in the UK is going to make sure that Mr. Taylor keep healthy for the 50 years. They're going to make sure that Mr. Taylor watch television in his cell. My tax I pay in the UK. We pay for the gym, and Mr. Taylor, when he feel like taking exercise, you go to the gym. So Prince Johnson will go there too, and Bob Neke will go there too. Some of you guys are in the house, you will go there too, and we'll do the same.
And importantly, thank you for the education. You know, one thing that is very provoking is the remorselessness of some of these perpetrators. Especially, I hate to be really personal. I like to be impersonal when I'm discussing this issue of justice. But sometimes, I'm driven to anger to mention names. Prince Johnson, for an example. Why is this guy so defiant?
Well, that's the question I want to throw at you.
And so
I'm on the
remorseless.
ground. You're on the
Exactly.
ground. Why?
So defiant and so remorseless.
Why?
It is what is even provoking some of us to say, hey, you killed, you maimed, you raped.
But he said he killed for reason. Did you hear that? He keeps saying that in some record.
Listen,
He said he killed for
see,
reason.
let's get something clear. I said, look, even war
Yeah.
that people fight, there are rules.
Yeah.
One of the rules is that when you catch a prisoner of war, a prisoner of war is somebody who surrenders.
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
You are under international obligation to ensure the safety of that prisoner of war. You maybe turn him over for prosecution or whatever the case is. You don't catch him, a person without arm who has surrendered to you, and then you commit him to torture up to the extent that he dies from the torture. Such was the case with the former President Doe.
Yeah.
You did that. The thing is on video, and as though he probably lost track of his senses, he was recording those things. And then you say, so you violated international laws. That is a gross human rights violation. My young man, you cannot be punished only in Liberia. The war, even if Liberia refuses to. But do you know, if we allow these acts of atrocities to go unpunished, any of these countries that sign up to these international treaties can sue Liberia. Yes, Liberia can be sued by any of our, counterparts for harboring and accepting and allowing to go with impunity gross human rights violations. You get it? And another thing our Liberian people have to understand is that today we have lots of our brothers and sisters languishing in the streets.
Yeah.
You call them Zogos.
They even give them names.
Yeah, you call them Zogos. You make gimmicks of them. You throw $5 at them. They come to your car when
Well, that was then, not even now.
But they're all in the streets, and you know what's happening? Because they have not been rehabilitated, they have not been reintegrated in society, so they have resorted to being criminals. I tell you, even during this Christmas period, on a daily basis, our mothers, our brothers and sisters are being harassed, children carry knives, they broad day, they attack you and take money and take things because the government has not put in place a mechanism to address these victims. Some of them fought the war at the time. They were child soldiers. Once they were below 18, they cannot be held for the crimes they committed at the time. The person who put arms in their hands is that person the law will hold. And this issue of money. As I said, Max, thank God you threw some light on. Yeah, this is something that has a global appeal. Gross human rights violations, it has a global appeal. Now when you say we want to prosecute Mr. X, who committed acts of atrocities in YZ country, and he is roaming the world, we've just caught him, we want to prosecute him. Look, you won't know where the money will come from. People who support humanity will spend the money on that to ensure that this society, the world, is free of crime and violence.
Free of this kind of individual.
And here's an interesting thing. There is a group now in Liberia that calls itself Liberia Reconciliation Committee, headed by my friend and brother Ali Silla. Ali Silla and a group of Liberians are going around saying that they don't support war crimes code, they don't support restorative justice, they support retributive justice. But what Ali Silla and co have not realized is that restorative justice, retributive justice are all offsprings of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. So if you support that the TRC's recommendations must be implemented fully, then it means you support that restorative justice is an offspring of the TRC recommendations, just as the restorative. But you have, after all, been applying the restorative measures. Where has it led us? Are we reconciled? And some of them will say, you send people to jail, they come, they still commit the acts. If that is your excuse, then I would say, open the Central Monrovia prison, open all of the prisons around. Then all of the criminals get out. Because when they come from jail, the thing is, if you never had prisons to confine some people for acts of criminality, you know what will happen? You will not have a safe society. This whole society will be polarized with criminals. So the prisons and stuff has curtailed, it has reduced, it has minimized, the proliferation of crimes. Are we getting somewhere?
Yeah.
So I can understand the guys are fighting back frantically. The perpetrators, they want to even take it at an ethnic level. Some of them want to take it at a religious level. But I have been under several threats. I'm not perturbed by those threats. Look, you want to get at me? It's just as simple as ABC. You I know some of you are bloodthirsty and you are trigger crazy. We around, you can kill if you want to kill me. But I'm just saying, as long as I have life, as long as I have breath, I will call for justice. I will call for you to have a day. Look, even Christ Jesus, as perfect as he was, the young man availed himself for justice. The man was prosecuted, and a man who was harmless with the could not be found any fault with him. But he called himself the Messiah, and because of that, they crucified him.
There's a crime.
God, our Maker, is clear that on the last day, and he calls that day the day of judgment, even the dead will resurrect to come and account for their deeds whilst on earth. Who are you, mortal man, to question justice? God himself endorses justice. Why is Liberia such a peculiar country? Why do we sit here as though we are not cultured, as though we've got no orientation?
Mr. Wesseh, when this issue of war and economic crisis, thanks so much for your contribution. We're just here in conversation. For those of you that just joined from across the world, in conversation with Mr. Franklyn K. Wesseh. In fact, he's ex-chair for one of, in fact, the #1 intellectual forums in Liberia, called a Center for Intellectual Opinions, CEO. In conversation with him, frankly, he's spending his time, his little money that he's getting, everything into this call for the establishment of war and economic crimes for Liberia and the full implementation of the TRSA. Above all, it's all about social justice. He wants things to be done in the right way. And so we thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate you, and thanks also for your contribution wherever you're watching this broadcast live. Look, let's digress a little bit. But let end up with the issue of the follow-up to the march, the protests that were held in November. There's a planned protest coming up in April 6th.
Yeah.
By grace of God, I'm going to be here purposely for that march.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh great.
I finished buying my ticket already.
Interestingly, we want to have that march in Nimba.
Oh great.
Oh yes,
really?
we're taking it to their doorsteps.
Well, let's go out. Yeah.
Nimba, that is where. Oh yes. So anybody who feels he can kill, and he wants to kill us, come and kill us. We're bringing the debate to your doorsteps. March April 6th will be in Nimba. No other place, Nimba.
Yeah, so I'm coming for, I will be joining in. But what do you think, and how do you think it's going to be in terms of April 6th protest we're talking about? What do you anticipate?
A mass turnout in Nimba County.
Okay.
This time we're not going to look. We just want to disabuse the mind of some Liberians who feel that the people of Nimba are bad people. It is just one individual who is creating that distorted image of the people of Nimba. Lots of good people from Nimba. And it is not everybody in Nimba who supports that people like Prince Johnson and others go with impunity. So to disabuse the minds of people in Liberia and the world at large, we are mobilizing people right in Nimba to turn out on April 6th in Nimba to support the quest for justice. We're not going to truck people there. Right within Nimba, we're going to engage the people of Nimba. We will let them know why. They need to understand that an individual is not more than the people of Nimba. One person's act of atrocities must not, overshadow the good intent of the people of Nimba. So we're taking it to the doorsteps, and I can tell you, thank God you're going to be here. We are going to be in Nimba, maybe 2-3 days to the event. We will mobilize, we'll go on the radio, and we'll let people know that we're going there, so that if anybody attempts to do anything, the one will know that we still have these perpetrators of atrocities and mayhem in our society, and they are still claiming to be powerful, and they are still attempting to take lives. Okay, and we're not going to renege on this thing until something new is done in our country. We will rewrite the history of this country. Liberia is a country that people really, revered in the yesteryears. Many great people went through the walls of the Louis Underground School of Law. During those days, my dad told me our JFK used to be the referral hospital within the sub-region. People came here for treatment. People left from neighboring Ghana, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone and attended the Louis Underground School of Law. That is to tell you how, credible our education and health sectors were. Today, almost everything is down the drain, and people want to blame it on the war. Okay, the war, sport, everything. What are we doing to give meaning to the past? Must we sit here and just keep crying on this one Liberian civil war? Are we the only country that fought civil war? Huh? Somebody will say, oh, I heard my brother the other day, he was providing antithesis to the establishment of work, and he said Rwanda spent up $2 billion plus, and so what? They spent so much money, but you know why? It reaped huge dividends. Today,
you can see today.
Rwanda is so serene, very clean. The people have museums.
Up to now, they still being tried.
Yes.
At the Hague.
When you go there, they immortalized those people who brought it. They committed acts of atrocities. You go there, they'll tell you, say, Mr. Franklyn, Wesseh, for example, they write your name in marbles. That's it. Massacred, blah blah blah, on so day. And so he had his day in court. He was penalized. This other food. Some of them that they committed minor offenses, they committed them to communal labor. That's it. Some of them will be sweeping. You sweep. Government is not paying you. That is, you see, Rwanda's so clean. When you go to Rwanda, our friends that have been looking at me, and they tell you that people fought civil war here. This is what the genocide. Because mind we didn't have genocides in Liberia. No, we don't have genocide. When they say genocide, it's like like one ethnic group going against another ethnic group. Ours was massacres. That we had here. But in Rwanda, today you will never see. It's hard to trace the war. In Sierra Leone, those who brought the war in this country, when they surface for any form of election, we'll vote against them. We'll not vote them. Today, no war law. But at one war law that was elected by his people in Sierra Leone.
Now let's wrap up on this. Thank you so much. Let's wrap up on this. Your country image is being tarnished by virtue of this ongoing investigation of the $16 billion that we heard of, and also the misinformation about the $25 million as well. Where do you stand on this as an advocate for social justice? Do you think this is impeding the future of the Liberian children and the health sector, education as well? Where do you stand on the issue?
First of all, I strongly condemn any act of corruption. I strongly oppose any attempt to deprive the mass of our people of their just benefits, to enrich a handful of individuals who find themselves in government and see government as a conduit to enrich themselves. I condemn that. In the same vein, I'm interested in an impartial and credible investigation of this matter. The reason why the issue of this 16 billion went the way it went, the government shot itself in the leg. We as a government, the money supply of this country is 17 billion Liberian dollars, annually. What per budget here? It is not just possible that 16 billion of such money, can dissipate in thin air. Then how does the government function? How do civil servants get paid? How does how do other sectors really function in government? No, it is practically in my mind, doesn't make sense. But here is the situation. The issue of money came about after Philip Brown had unearthed some information surrounding money that came in containers. The information minister, Len Eugene Hamwe, came out to tell the Liberian people, oh yes, money came out, and it had more than one entry points through the port, through the airport, and blah blah blah. And in fact, we're not, according to him, discussing 5 or 9 billion Liberian dollars, but rather something in the tune of, according to him, between 16 to 16.5, I think 50.
Yeah.
Okay, 50 and 15.5 billion. Wow. Right in there, the finance minister, as though he did not want to hear that money really came, or money came through more than one entry, or money was spent in more than one country. In that anger, you heard a finance minister coming and dismissing all of what the information minister said. Now you created a situation where the citizens will begin to smell the rat. They will begin to sense there is something tricky, tricky about the statements coming from both. Then you had the justice minister also, coming to. So they created this havoc because the information they spewed to the public, were so contradictory, and it gave people to think something fishy. Especially, look, my brothers, look, we are in a real mess. Then the chairman of the ruling party, my good friend and brother Molba Molu, I don't know what really prompted his remark. He said he saw the money being carried in pickups. Mind you, money carried in pickups, it must be in huge volume. To say in pickups, he said I know all of those things, they were very statements that inflamed the situation. When the guys were ganging up for the march, the Bring Back Our Money march, they approached me, and I said, hey, I'm following this thing religiously, but let us hear what the president has to say. He is the head of state. This is a serious national concern. Yes. And the president, on the eve of his departure to address the United Nations, said, my people, please be patient. I'm going to ensure a speedy and impartial investigation. You did not expect a Franklyn Wesseh to go in the street holding placard again. I'm not saying those who did so shouldn't have done so. It is their right, their fundamental rights, to do whatever they want to do. But I said, the president has spoken, and I was trusting and believing the president would do just as he promised. Because as a leader, your word is your bond. And he left and came. Up to now, we are told the investigation is ongoing. But you heard the U.S. ambassador saying that after this festive period, they have been conducting some investigation on this matter, and they will be informing the public on, the outcome of the investigation. We are hoping we can get a clear picture, because these people are credible institutions. We are hoping that they do just fine. His finance minister said he infused 25 million, to mop, excess liquidity. And the excess liquidity obviously was the Liberian dollars. The question there is, you see, he himself too, the way he explains at times, he entraps himself. You said you gave the money to money exchangers. Through what means? Even if you have to give money to money exchangers, how do we account for the money that was given out? I thought that should have been done through commercial banks. If even you want to, because they know their vendors, they know people, but I think he also created a little doubt about the.
Well, Mr. Wesseh, the president said on the day of inauguration, I remember he said that Liberian will no longer be taking the back seat in business, but to put them in front seat. So $25 million was to help the young people who are in the street changing the money, to give them the support for them to.
No. The president just approved, I think, $3.something billion.
Down for
to help small businesses. And that's the way you do it. That is something like a loan. But the 25 million was infused to mop up excess.
But at the same time, I mean, in the means of helping to support our young people who are doing the business.
No.
They can make profit.
But that it should not have been done like money coming from the hand of the finance minister to them. This is the country's money. It must be channeled through the right procedures. How is money given out to the market? Especially from the angle of government. How is it done? there's a channel through which you give out money, whether as a way of helping people grow their markets or loans or whatever.
What was your initial reaction when you heard about the $25 million being given it to money exchange?
Yeah, I was really optimistic that it would have helped the situation when the president said, look, I'm going to invest it, but in the meantime, I'm going to infuse 25 million in the economy. That's what the president said, to mop up excess liquidity. The way it was done now is what I have problem with. It was a good exercise to want to, because it was like too many Liberian dollars chasing few United States dollars. So you wanted to get the Liberian dollars off the market, by like buying them, taking it from the hands of, you say household, because we say people who got the money, they're keeping it. They're not keeping the money in the banks, they're keeping it. Great, they are all households. So you want to get the money from them and bring the money in the banks. Brilliant idea, but the way it was done is what raised grounds.
All right, finally, let's come down to the year is coming to an end, and the first term for the CDC-led government is coming to an end. 12 months into the presidential responsibilities. As a, one of the finest sons of Liberia, you being in the vanguard, advocating for social justice. You want the life of children to be transformed. You want the JFK hospital to be like how it was yesterday, before the war. You want the University of Liberia for students to be coming from other parts of the world to be coming here to study. I don't know from what perspective that you go into grade this government, but where do you start from, if I may ask you, as to 12 months now, 1 year into this administration, what are you very, very pleased with, and what are those that you are really displeased with?
Exactly.
And what are your pieces of advice?
Exactly, and I think, Max, frankly, I like the way you put the question. You see, that is where I stand tall in my own little valley, in my own little world. I wouldn't be one of those people who just condemn everything the government does, who never acknowledges the good thing the government does. No.
That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah, you see, so I try to be as balanced as much as possible.
Okay.
I would say the government has done, to some extent, has made some efforts, owing to the fact that the president told the Liberian people that he inherited a broke economy, and even civil servants being paid, has been a challenge to this government. But in the wake of that, the president has initiated some moves that, in my mind, has really drew the admiration of the Liberian people. One of them being a tuition-free, let's say tuition-free college and university, public colleges and university students, and paying the wise fees of, those writing wise, and again, trying to connect all of the feeder roads within the basically, Monserrado, connecting the community with Clarendon, with a smooth road, something that was a challenge for years, and people from the community will not easily commute to town during the rain season.
Yeah.
Those are all commendable, and even coming up to give 3.5 million. I don't want to be too exact with the figure, to small businesses to help them grow. They are commendable.
They about $3 million.
Yeah, they are commendable, because, and then cutting the salaries of senior officials of government, from those making 12,000 coming down to 7,000, those that were making 7,000, being paid about 3,500, so that they use what is being cut from their salaries for other purposes, which could be maybe like paying public university and colleges tuition, paying wise fees. Commendable, because these are things that never existed before. But you see, there was one thing: you can do all of these good things. One bad thing you do overshadows all of the good things.
Yeah.
This particular cloud of uncertainty that you've created about this quote-unquote missing money has just overshadowed all of the good things. Yeah, he said, even if the president attempts to do anything, that I've been seeing on Facebook. I don't know how true that is. I saw housing units being posted on Facebook, owned by the president, allegedly owned by the president. And people will come in, look at what your man is building somewhere around around the Baptist Seminary.
I've been there. I just come from there this morning.
Yeah, but did you really see those structures?
Oh yeah, they are visible.
So they're real visible.
I'm even going for my watch night. The church will be, but as we speak now, the church should be, how do you call it? They should be dedicating the church today.
Which church?
The President built a church.
In the place there?
In the same area.
Okay, great.
I just come from there, and the church should be presented to the public today.
Okay.
And today there's a white night
at the church.
Because I live very close by. I'm going there for the white night tonight.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And
so
those housing units are actually there. Are they getting up?
Took pictures. I stood there. They are there. They are visible.
All right.
It's not fake.
Okay.
They how do you call it? The Jamaica resort is not fake. I went there as well. I visited there. Jamaican resort is more of kind of closed. Not permitted in the fence itself.
So
yeah, they are visible.
In my mind, that's not a bad idea. That has added to our beautification as a country, as a
nice,
city.
of course,
Yeah, great. That he didn't build them outside. He built them, but here is it. We're just hoping that they were built from his hard-earned money. The reason why people are not appreciating what he's doing, as I said, it's just this bad news that is in the space.
People are living in doubt.
Yeah. So people will say, oh, the 16 billion we're applying for is what he's building his, all of that.
Yeah.
But whatever the case is,
communication. So people have right to.
The government needs to work on its information dissemination mechanism. It's not doing well. You got too many people talking at the same time, and people should understand the term of reference and the deliberation of power. Certain people belong to certain area, let them do the talking. Let other people be concerned with their own scope of operations, and not every tongue taking how to talk.
Chairman Emeritus, I want to press you down on this in terms of percentage, because for all the British people believe in percentage when you perform in government. I have for this first year, 12 months into this government. Normally, in some other countries, they count the 100 days, the first 100 days, for you to, actually showcase your delivery.
Sure.
But we into 1 year now. I got scores here that I want you to choose from, where you think this government stands right now in terms of moving this nation forward from January last year to January 2019, which will make him let's say 1 year in power. I got A for 100%, they've done well. B for 75%, they are absolutely, they are there. C, I got 50%, and I get D for 30%. Within this range, where does the government stand as far as you being a stoned and ousted advocate is concerned?
Yeah, Max Mixon, as I said.
Really put you on a point.
I know. You see, Max, I just told you even before we began this interview that my own evaluation and assessment of the government will be beyond January 22. You're not going to draw me into that now, because when you grade a system or any form of performance, you must have indicators.
But you just named roles. You just named
houses
that you're building.
There are other issues that you might consider as pitfalls. Okay, and you want to blend both the pitfalls and the quote-unquote gains to be able to do an evaluation of it. I was just passing through a few things. I was only trying to let you know I'm not that activist who will wear a political lens, who will condemn everything the government does. That is not activism. I'm there to strike a balance between the governed and the governors. So beyond, my friend will always be saying, beyond January 22, even if you're in the UK, you can place in a court.
So even 50% or 70%?
No, I would not grade.
What about 80? Maybe they don't.
That is not for me to do. Others can, not for me. Until after,
you want to give them 100%?
No, until after January 22.
Mr. Chairman Emeritus.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us your time today.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it very much. Thanks for the work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to our various
so on that note,
watches,
I want to say thank you so much. I will be in the streets shortly. I'm going to speak to some citizens of Liberia with respect to the establishment of war and economic transfer. This is the question I will be asking them, if they support TRC and the establishment of war and economic transfer. You'll soon see me live from this point. But from my end here, in this part of Monrovia, I want to say thank you so much. All of you that shared this video, I want to appreciate you very, very much. God bless you. God bless all of you. Okay, Fumi, thank you so much. You have given your grace. I didn't even mention 20%, so you calm down a little bit.
Okay.
Anyway, from my end, thank you so much. God bless you. I wish you a merry, let's say happy New Year. Bye bye.
I want you to share that with me.
But yeah,